Mr. President, Senator Richardville offers Senate Resolution 196, a resolution of tribute for the Honorable Bruce Caswell.
Senator Meekhoff.
Thank you. I move the rules be suspended to allow for the immediate consideration of Senate Resolution 196.
Without objection, it is so ordered.
Senator Richardville offers Senate Resolution 196, a resolution of tribute for the Honorable Bruce Caswell. The rules have been suspended to allow for the immediate consideration of the resolution. There are no amendments pending to the adoption of Senate Resolution 196.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? The Honorable Senator Bruce Caswell.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Nobody can do anything in this town unless they're allowed to. I learned this lesson well from Larry Julian 10 years ago. So for the little I've accomplished, I wish to say thank you to a whole host of individuals. Senate Fiscal's always been on top of their game. Ellen, Steve, Francis, David, you've always made me look smarter than I am. Senate policy people have likewise been of great help to me, explaining complicated bills in 3 sentences or less so that even I can understand what they mean. To both groups, I say thank you. Thank you for helping me to find the woodchucks in the stone piles of this town. To the various senators and their staffs, I want to say thank you for being intelligent, thoughtful people who have graciously put up with my never-ending questions and have always been respectful in your dealings with me, even when I might not have deserved it. To the sergeants who patrol this place, you get a little recognition, but you do a very vital job, and I sincerely appreciate it. Over the time we've spent together, for some of you it's been 10 years, I've seen some of you lose loved ones, and it's brought back difficult memories for me. I remember campaigning for an individual back in the House, and I stopped at a door, told him why I was there, and the lady said, I knew this individual's father. He was a good man. This individual is not his father. And I always thought what a damning indictment that was. Well, I fast forwarded to 2006 when my dad passed away. And there was a lady that came through the receiving line, and she made the comment to me, your dad would have done anything for anybody. She said, we loved him. And she said, and you're exactly like him. Sometimes in death, you find out the most precious things that people think. And it helps very much to bear up under the sadness that you have. It's true that God is with us in our most difficult times. Now, some individuals in the chamber here. Mo Hood. I don't know if you remember, but I remember back in the House when we had an appropriations committee and you just lit me up one side and down the other. And from that, I think we've developed a very good relationship. And I greatly respect you. And probably nobody in this town would ever think that a city boy like you and a country redneck like me could get along so well. You're a good man. Senator Warren, I've enjoyed working with you on the Mental Health Commission. Jeff Hansen, you're very calm, you're very thoughtful, you're very deliberate. I wish I had all those qualities, but I don't. But I appreciate them in you. Judy Emmons, I've come to greatly admire you. You're a determined little bugger, and you stick to your values. I like that. Mark Jansen, you're the epitome of a class act. I have been so fortunate to have had the opportunity to work with you. Tom Casperson, you're a lot like me. You're a simple guy who's never lost sight of where he came from. and I beg you, no matter where you end up, to don't ever change. Mike Knopf's, what started out in the House as curiosity on my part to get to know you, has developed into a very good friendship. You're unflappable. You know how to get things done. I know I've learned a lot from you, and I thank you. And remember, Mike, there's nothing that you can't conquer. Dave Robertson, with the fire in your belly, when you leave this place, you have to become a coach. Your halftime speeches would be awesome. Jack Brandenburg, we've known each other for 10 years. I still don't think that it's right that you stole Neil Nitz's pension. But my friend, you're always welcome in my house anytime. Your choice of athletic teams at the college level is somewhat deplorable, but I won't hold that against you. Roger Kahn, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you over the last 8 years. I trust you implicitly, and I know, as we said the other day, I know that your bark is worse than your bite. You have a very caring heart. You've always treated me well. John Papa George, you've got a real knack for stating the crux of a problem. You just need to work a little bit on doing it more concisely. Randy Richardville, you're the best leader I've ever worked with. You've trusted me with some important missions: indigent defense, the Mental Health Commission, a revision of heating assistance for the poor, and told me to rewrite the EAA bill. No one has ever trusted me in my time here in Lansing the way you have. I only hope that I did not let you down, but I thank you deeply for the trust that you put in me. It's meaningful to an old man to have a young whippersnapper such as yourself trust me to do an important job. I also want to deeply thank you for the civil tone that you've created in this chamber. It's fun to come to work here. And finally, I need to mention Scott Hummel, who some may remember and may not, but he was the first person that gave me a chance, put me on the DCH Appropriations Committee, and I'll forever be indebted to him. I don't know why he chose me, but he did. Others who have been of great help to me include Maura Corrigan, Dwayne Berger, and Steve Yeager. DHS is not a popular department, but these people have done a fine job of starting the process to put that department on a path to continuous quality improvement. I know I've demanded a lot from you in our office, in my office, but I also know that in many cases you've delivered. God willing, Maura, your legacy will be that we're out from under the Master Settlement Agreement. Thank you for all your hard work. It's also been very rewarding to work with the people in the Department of Community Health. Jim Haveman, who came back to serve his state, is a great patriot who served his country as well. We owe him a great debt of gratitude. Steve Fitton does a wonderful job. I worry about his health, and I hope he takes care of it. But he certainly works hard. And the new director, Nick Lyons, one of his sidekicks, Elizabeth Hertel, Linda Zeller, are all outstanding public servants. You've always answered my questions and have been a great help to me in my efforts to understand the Medicaid system. I thank you. And finally, my son Mark, my oldest son, is a computer geek. With proper instruction, he enabled me to engage in an intelligent conversation with DTMB, mainly Jim Hogan. I can tell you, Jim is a great public servant. He listens, he's very concerned about making things work in this state, and it's been a pleasure to get to know him. I found Lansing to be a very unusual town. It's a bubble surrounded by reality. I've enjoyed the budget process immensely, but I have to tell you, I've absolutely dreaded the policy side of things. I still get nervous when I have to go before a policy committee. Numbers always add up to something. Policy is always an opinion. And being an old math teacher, I struggle with opinions. When I became a superintendent, I had an old curmudgeon call me and tell me that I needed to find one person in that school who would tell me the truth about what was really going on. And if that person ever brought me bad news, to not get mad at him, because that person would be the only way that I would really know what was going on in the school. Well, at the time I found such a person, and I found just one. Well, when I came to Lansing, I looked for a similar person. I might mention that I went home after a month or two and told my wife what an intelligent individual I was. And she said, "Really? What makes you say that?" And I said, "Well, every time I make a statement, the lobbyists all tell me what a genius I am. Doesn't matter how stupid the statement is, they tell me I'm a genius." And she looked at me and smiled and said, "Trust me, you're not that smart." But this person I found in Lansing was Dave Marvin. Dave worked for me for 10 years. I owe the man a great debt of gratitude. He guided me, told me when I was wrong, encouraged me when I was right. He tried to teach me how this place works. I'm not sure he succeeded, but he tried. He kept me out of trouble. Any success that I've had in this town is due in large part to him. I've been blessed with many quality staff members, from Elizabeth Hertel to Chad Arnold, Carrie Crone, and now Alicia Cottrell. So all these people I've mentioned have helped me along the way, along with many others. No man is an island. To this chamber, I sincerely say thank you for your hard work and common decency and the trust that you've put in me. And I mean this sincerely. If there's ever anything I can do for any of you, please ask. And I don't care how many years down the road it is, I will do whatever I can for you. And finally, to my wife Beth, I say God bless you. You've been a rock in our marriage. It's a little known fact, but my first campaign was encouraged by my wife. I had retired from school, and I'd been home about a year when she started lovingly telling me that I needed to go find something to do. Not knowing what else to do, I would wander the neighborhood, talking to folks. As people started locking their doors when they saw me coming, my range of door knocking became wider and wider. Eventually, Beth mentioned and put out the word in our community that she would appreciate it if people would vote for me to get me out of her hair. Since Beth is very well liked back home, people were more than happy to oblige her. Thus began my political career. And now that it's coming to a close, I can only hope that all of you in this chamber will agree that I met my son Kevin's directive when he told me, "Remember, Dad, don't embarrass the family." Thank you.